Okay. Okay, let me get kind of focused in here. I want to call this tonight Taking Thought, because most people that are going to miss heaven are going to fail to do just that. They're going to just fail to take thought about the things of God. Most of the unbelievers that I talk to, they got too much going on to take the time to take thought. Some of them aggressively refuse to take the time to take the thought of whether God is real or not. Let me put some light on this situation. Okay, that should be a little bit better. And they just fail to take the time to take thought. And they don't realize that God is coming to interrupt our lives. They'll take time at the end of their life. They'll think about it then. They may think seriously about it. They may not. But they'll think about it then. And on Judgment Day, you will take plenty of time to think about it that day, because you'll be facing the one that you failed to take time to take the thought of, which is God. I'm sure that all judgment will take place before the throne of God. Jesus being the presiding judge. Okay. And this is what the Lord had to say about that. Let's talk about the rich man's barns. It's in Luke chapter 12, verse 15. He says, "Take heed and beware of covetousness, for a man's life consists not of the abundance of the things which he possesseth in the King James." And that's what I'm talking about. They're so busy. They think their life consists of what they own, what they have, who their friends are, who they're married to, the kind of car you drive, and the kind of job you have, that type of thing, you know. And Jesus was saying, beware, because your life does not consist of those kind of things. Verse 16, he spake a parable unto him, saying, the ground of a certain rich man brought forth plentiful. And this story is real familiar to some of you, but others not. And I'm going to go through it for the sake of those. Verse 17, and he thought within himself, saying, what shall I do, because I have no room where to stow my fruits? Verse 18, he says, this will I do, I will pull down my barns and build greater, and there will I bestow all my fruits and my goods. And I will say to my soul, soul, thou hast much goods laid up for many years. Take thine ease, eat, drink, and be merry. But God said to him, thou fool, this night thy soul shall be required of thee. Then whose shall those things be which thou hast provided? That was a phone. So is he that layeth up treasure for himself, and is not rich toward God. And the Lord was quick to point out here that it's not wrong to have stuff. It's just wrong not to be rich toward God. And he said to his disciples, therefore, and he's going to explain this a little bit more, I say to you, take no thought for your life, what you shall eat, neither for the body, what you shall put on. The life is more than meat, the body is more than raiment. Consider the ravens of the air, they neither sow nor reap, which neither have storehouse or barns, and God feedeth them. How much more are you better than the fowls of the air? And I know the Lord has pointed that verse out to me at least 100 times. You know what I mean? And he was quickly to point to that story and to because to tell me of these things, because in faith believing. Now it's not the big things I'm talking about, it's the small things. Because the small things make up the big things, and the big things make up your life. Just believe God for today. Don't go out and get so bent out of shape today because things aren't working going your way. Just trust God that He knows what He's doing in this day. I've got healings that I need in my body. I've had for almost a year now. And some I think maybe longer than that. But I'm just going to trust God. And here lately I've picked up I think I've torn a cartilage in my elbow. This one over here, because of my job. I drive a hoist truck. So, and I just got to take it easy. And this is God saying, slow down and trust me in doing these things. And so that's what I've just got to do, because God is the provider. He makes the way. We got to trust Him. I remember one time when I was in the woods, my honey had gotten locked up. I was in the woods. I was working 2 jobs at the time, trying to get things caught up so that I could pay her lawyer to try to get her out of trouble. Okay. So I was in the woods, and the Lord was saying, trust me, trust me, trust me. And God didn't want me in there cutting wood, apparently. I had 1 job, that's enough. I believe this old fellow that says when you have to work 2 jobs to make it, it's time to find a new job. And I believe that. So I was cutting wood in there, and a tree fell. And I'm going to make a long story short. It fell across my legs. When it fell, the tree kicked back and hit me, knocked me over just one place, and I landed. And there was a log landed on one side of my leg, a piece of wood that had been cut, and another piece on the other side of my leg, on both legs, and the tree landed across all 4. And that's God's way of saying slow down. Sometimes He has to do some really stressful things to us to get us to slow down, pay attention to Him, and trust Him. Because we as people, I'm the kind of person who always wants my hands on it. I want to get me in charge. I want to make it happen. But God says, look, if you're going to do things my way, you got to let me make it happen. Okay. Don't need to pull down your barns. You got enough. You got enough. Don't need to be rich in this life. Be rich toward God. As long as you got enough stuff here to make it through this life, that's really all that we need. And because this stuff fades away. Heaven never fades away. Lay up your treasures over there. Amen. Alright, God bless. We'll see you again next time. Across the Middle Ministry with another great subject.